I made $100,000 trading SPY specifically, and I'm going to show you in this video how exactly that was possible and what most other people don't show you when it comes to that. So first things first, of course, on my YouTube channel, this is the video here where I broke down how I made the $75,000 first 20 days of September. And then after that, what was it, the 24th, I made about another 8K or so, give or take. And then on the 26th, I made about $12,000, give or take. And I think I made another trade on Friday. But to get right to it, how I made six figures in a single month from trading is the following. You go to a website. This is what you need to go to, random.org/calendar dates. And you put in for the past year, January 1st, 2024, September 1st, 2024. And this is exactly what you do. You go ahead and click this button that says get date. And this scenario says April 29th, 2024. So what we're going to exactly do is go back to Thinkorswim, go to this on demand tab, find the date that we just talked about. And on demand, this is where you basically practice essentially any day in the past, and you actually just practice trading the dang thing. And you do that every single day. And I know that's not some cool, sexy, amazing thing that you probably want to hear, and you want to hear this crazy, I don't know, technical analysis type tool, etc. But you can't get past the work at the end of the day. That's all it is. So it's really, if realistically you pick a day, that means you can't cheat, you can't BS, you can't do any of that. You go at 9:30 a.m. CST, which is when I typically would do trading, and this is a quote unquote live day, but just with fake money. And so you go ahead and say, okay, where's the low of the day where I'll draw my major demand zone? So in this scenario, it's okay, it's right here. So we go ahead and draw this out, and we'll actually play this out together just for the heck of it. We'll actually do the practice of how to practice. So oh 08 plus 10 cents would be 18, but that would be too large, so we have to go only to 15 because that's how that works. Then we have to do the major supply zone. So we go ahead and draw this over. I do this every single day, guys, regardless of if it's a holiday, regardless of if it's my dang birthday on June 5th. It doesn't matter. It's the same stuff. That's how you make six figures. That's how you make seven figures a year. That's how you make a lot of money when it comes to trading. It's literally just that. It's not learn the strategy one time and then you go do the strategy with real money right after that. The real question is, have you practiced a shit ton after that? That's it. So 5 minute zone, yeah, 5 minute chart, excuse me. We have our zone. We have the major demand zone, major supply zone. So technically we want things to actually be formed here, come up, basically do a bounce, and then go up. Or basically with this one, you see the zone already technically worked, came around, hit it, and it fell. So if we go to the 1 minute chart, we have already something that's kind of forming, but it's kind of far away. I don't too much like that, but this would technically be like a zone counter reversal and maybe a confirmation and then a potential entry. I don't necessarily like it too much. Oh, well, for one, the candle's going too large, so we can't enter it anyway. So that's fine. But see, you see that in itself, if you were doing this with live money, you would say, oh my God, this thing's running on without me. I should probably jump in the trade. And then potentially it fails or potentially it works. But if you do this in practice, then you'll end up thinking, okay, I see this happens all the time. And if I did enter hypothetically right here, then it's like, well, where's my stop loss? Well, potentially all the way down here. And then, well, where's my take profit scenario in this case? Oh, well, my take profit, the next one, is right here. So if we go back to the 1 minute chart, you're entering here and you're going to exit there for a hypothetical win and exit there for a loss. That's stupid as hell. Why would you risk that much to actually gain that much? That should be reversed, if anything, right? So let's go ahead and delete that. But you would understand that from practicing. And even if you didn't know my strategy, if you were making your own strategy or whatever it is, you'd end up, after a while of doing 50, 100 plus trades, you start saying, well, it seems like my losses are much bigger than my wins. So what's the common denominator? And the common denominator for some people that do trades like that is that their entry piece is too far away from their stop, or maybe they don't even have a stop. But again, practicing helps identify that, you know? And so what's nice about Thinkorswim and the on-demand system here is that you can actually go up to this spot up here, right? There's this piece here that step forward, it jumps ahead about 10 minutes or so. There is a pause button, so if you do want to pause it and all the candles do stop exactly where they are on this 1 minute chart, you can pause it. There's the play button, of course, to play things like normal, and then there's the best one right here, which is fast forward 3x on the candles, essentially. So if we click that, you should see the candles start speeding up a little bit to a certain degree, assuming you can't see it on your side. So you see they're forming a lot quicker, and then we can go back to regular speed. And then check this out. See, if you would have entered here, then it would have never hit your take profit. It would have hit your loss. It would have shot down rapidly, and there would have never been. You would have lost a bunch of money, basically. And then you maybe would have jumped in because of FOMO, you're worried, et cetera, whatever it is. But these are things that you need to identify and et cetera whenever you're doing trading. Let's see. Let's go back to the 5 minute chart. At this point, maximize the sell and kind of reassess where things are currently going. Excuse me. So at the moment, things are a little interesting. I'm trying to see what direction the market wants to go, but it kind of looks like we have. I'll start here, just for example. Looks like we have, it opened up right here as the low, if it'll let go. Then it had a high. Then it had a low, followed by another high, but not as high. Pretty dang close, but not as high. Then we had a lower low, right? And again, I mean, you saw I just picked a random date. I don't know anything about this day. And then I have a lower high. So it does seem like it wants to do a put more to the downside, potentially. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. If it is doing that, I'm curious where it's going to. There's some stuff in the way down here. This is today and this is the day before. And these are what I call multi-day zones, essentially. So like if you did draw these things outward, these could be like your potential take profits, basically. But I'm going to remove those. So we are on a downtrending day as a whole, at least so far. So that's interesting. But so there's still no trade specifically yet. The only way there would potentially be a trade is if maybe it came down, maybe came back up to tap this area, and then potentially came back down, because I don't play breakouts. Breakouts have a bad habit from a practicing perspective that I've noticed of just shooting right back up. So I don't like doing those types of trades at all. So the only way, again, I would do it is if it came down, tapped here, and then started rushing back down potentially, or just slowly falling back down at the very least. And again, just another thing that you don't really typically notice. Let's see what this is going to do. So if it does not break through fully and comes back down, then we might have a play. So let's see what this is going to do. Let me zoom in on this guy, because it might not end exactly where we want to. No, it's just still falling. But these are things that you need to be doing. This is what a 6-figure per month trader does. This is not the fun, sexy, cool, crazy, etc. stuff we want. But again, I don't want to sit through all this, but all we would do is potentially wait. Maybe it's going to be green, and come back up and then run back down. If it does that, and then again, we could use features like the step forward button to jump ahead 10 minutes. Oh, it's a doji. And then, and it worked out decently okay. So it came down, we got a doji. You can use that as your zone candle. So boom, zone candle, reversal candle, confirmation candle, entry candle, and I'm fine with this. Fine with this being zone reversal confirmation and this being an entry candle, as you can see, because A, sure, my stop loss is up here, but B, you could see that if we go back to our 5-minute chart, it was in a downward trend based off of the low, high, low, high, low, high, and it continued going lower. So it makes sense for that being in that case for it to keep running down. And that's realistically how you practice with on demand. You can specifically go back and do the whole active trader, entering it, boom, and exiting it, boom. That's perfectly fine. But you want to just be able to identify out loud, like actually, you see how I'm verbally doing this for a YouTube video? You need to go practice. Have a video that captures your audio, captures your voice, and out loud say nonstop what you're doing, the things you're thinking about when you're potentially about to enter a trade, and then use the step forward button to say, okay, let's see if I step forward, did exactly what I say happen. If it did, boom, you're right, and you have the audio piece to it, and there's little sidebars to it of listen to your voice, the tones of your voice. Is your voice the same? Is it in a worrying? Does it sound worrisome? Right? Or are you potentially saying, talking normal, and then you're like, okay, it's potentially gonna work. I'm not too sure. And then you go back and listen to it, you're like, okay, I was worried, so I wasn't confident. Why was I not confident? Did I enter a put, but I didn't see that it was going lower and lower and lower and lower and lower, right? That's different things you have to look for. It looks like it wants to pull back up, but to a certain extent, but more than likely, let's see what the rest of the day goes by. I'm just curious at this point. So you can go back here, and it's only 9:48, right? It's still have a whole rest of the trading day realistically. Let's go 15. The end of the day. So it pulled back. What is today? April 24th? April, May, June. Okay. So it kept, so our entry was over here and it fell. Keep in mind, it kept going. So from the logic we actually also thought about earlier of it going high, low, high, low, high, low, it kept going for what? From 940 all the way down to about 1045 for a huge move. And realistically, you probably would have got out as it started pulling back kind of aggressively over here at 1025, realistically. But that is a huge move if you took that. And on the another sidebar, let's say you just didn't like this move anyway. If we go back to the 5-minute chart, then there was potentially other trades. I'm going to go through everything. Potentially other trades you could have done, and you could have even caught this big piece going back upward as it was, right? Reason I say that is because let's keep the trend going, right? Here was the low, here's the high, and it didn't really do any reversals here, and it finally got a low here and a big old high. So you were thinking, okay, it's reversing, but then when the next candle formed lower, so it didn't do anything. Then we got a lower high, right? Then we got a low. Then we got a high that was a little bit lower than that one. Then we finally got this guy over here, basically these. Then we got this high, and you can see it never pulled back. So it's like, oh crap, it's going up higher. And you could have literally caught this entire thing from that alone, specifically using a strategy. You just find a zone, see the bounce, boom, ride it on up, whichever one it is. So, and that's how trend trading works. But these are different things that you can practice and play around with, the different patterns that you start to see once you practice on a daily basis. That's how I can make $100,000+ in a single month of trading. Not looking for the fancy stuff, not doing whatever it is. It's just practicing. So go to that website, random.org, which I'm not affiliated with, by the way. It's just a random website that does dates, that provides dates. Practice like this and get the results you want to get. And FY, if you do a day, sidebar again, I keep saying sidebar today, I don't know. If you do a day and you don't see a trade you like in that single day, that's perfectly fine. Go to do a different day, because there's not always a trade every day that's for you. Maybe for someone else, but might not be for you. All you need is some money at the end of the month, so you don't have to trade every day for that to actually happen. So go ahead out there, make your money, same way I did, by practicing.